The Russian column of tanks and APCs was spotted by the Ukrainians. They split into groups and attack from several directions at once. The first to come under fire is an APC. Next, the Ukrainians destroy a tank. This APC runs over mines. It turned into a crematorium on tracks, and this is a hit from a Javelin missile. The affected tank moves about 10 meters and stops. The Russians try to flee, but run into mines. Out of the entire column, only this armored personnel carrier manages to survive. It crosses the road and gets stuck. After suffering defeat during the day, the Russians start to attack at night. The tank leading the attack explodes on mines. It continues moving. Another explosion occurs, which the tank does not survive. The APC tries to bypass it and runs over mines as well. The armored group is now trapped. The Ukrainians use javelins, which work excellently at night. The attack ends with fireworks. The next morning, the Russians begin a new attack. Two APCs, packed with paratroopers, race across the open terrain. They are detected and try to break through with a fight. Kamikaze drones are directed at them. This is what the operator of a Ukrainian FPV drone sees. The APC, which was going first, tries to escape. An unsuccessful attempt. The drone is clearly visible at the moment of the attack. This is all that remains of the Russian APC. This story has a continuation. What do you think happened to the airborne troops? The continuation is available to our sponsors. Russian commanders change the direction of the attack. The second Russian tank approaches closer to the Ukrainian positions, explodes on a mine, and is finished off by a strike drone. The third tank finds itself several hundred meters from the Ukrainians. A Ukrainian kamikaze drone appears very timely and attacks it. The crew loses control and simply continues moving forward. The Ukrainians shoot at the tank with RPGs from a few dozen meters away. Here's that shot. Kamikaze drones continue their attacks, and a battle ensues between the tank crew and Ukrainian soldiers. This is the second reason to sponsor. I cannot show these frames in the main video. Flames erupt inside the tank. The tank explodes. The explosion is so powerful that it throws the 45-ton tank 5 meters away. Please support the Ukrainians with likes on this video who fight so bravely against the Russian forces. The Russians attempted to carry out dozens of attacks with smaller forces, and here's what resulted. A group of paratroopers tried to infiltrate the forest at night. After being hit by a drone, they abandoned the armored personnel carrier. At dawn, the kamikaze drone flew into the inside of the abandoned APC. The armored personnel carrier is completely burned. Now, it's the turn of the tank that the Ukrainians had previously immobilized. The tank is torn into two parts. The 2-ton turret is thrown tens of meters high. Here is where it lands. This is all that remains of the meat grinder. Those Russian tanks that survived try to retreat, but the Ukrainians catch up with them. Take, for example, this Russian tank. Its attempt to hide from the battlefield failed. Here's another good example. The tank was leaving, but the drone struck it and detonated the ammunition. This APC was retreating, but a swarm of Ukrainian kamikaze drones was already following it. The APC maintains mobility and continues moving. The second drone hits it on the side. Things are very bad for the Russians. Heavy smoke, a consequence of a fire inside. The result is the detonation of the ammunition the APC was carrying. Here's how 2 Russian tanks were hit during retreat. A hit to the engine compartment instantly immobilizes the tank. Thus, Russia loses a scarce T-90. And here's the third hit. Another T-90. It's easy to recognize by its unique turret. It is also destroyed. On the battlefield, many damaged but not destroyed tanks remain. While the Russians have retreated, it's necessary to destroy what they left behind in their fight. Thus, the Ukrainians will now be burning tank after tank, APC after APC, leaving nothing for the Russians. Yet ahead is still half a video with a large amount of destroyed Russian armor. A drone drops explosives into an APC. A fire starts immediately. A powerful explosion and detonation of ammunition occur. Am I the only one who likes watching such footage? That combination of fire and armored vehicles. There's something mesmerizing about it. It's target number 2's turn. The APC instantly ignites, and a powerful explosion follows immediately. I want to watch it again. Excellent. A crater is left in its place. Target 3. The flame gradually intensifies. Ammunition starts to detonate. It's beautiful. A Ukrainian kamikaze drone inspected the Russian tracked crematorium. Or take a look at this video. 5 kamikaze drones attack a Russian tank. The 5th hit becomes fatal for the Russian armor. A crater is formed in the tank's location. Can you imagine the power of that explosion? I think that after such a strike, this tank is not combat ready. As in this case. And here's another T-90, which couldn't cross a puddle and got stuck in the mud. And this is all on one section of the front. Can you imagine how many resources Russia is burning in this war? The enemy is very strong. Yes, these are tracked crematoriums, and the Russian soldiers taking part in this, lunatics. Here's the perfect example. The incendiary mixture falls on the netting, protecting the tank from grenades and bombs. The contents gradually drip onto the tank, and the flames spread to the hull. Let's move now to another section of the front where constant fighting is taking place. These 2 APCs were stopped by mines. After one of them explodes, another explosion occurs. Pay attention to this exact moment here. An armor plate falls on a mine, hits it, and another explosion happens. This APC was carrying ammunition to Russian soldiers at their positions. Another pair of APCs. The drone first approaches from the left side, but the hit doesn't yield the desired result. Then, the Ukrainians send a second drone. This hit becomes fatal. Both APCs are destroyed. The Ukrainians thwarted the Russians' attempt to evacuate their damaged tank. The strike drone returns with explosives to prevent such attempts in the future. The mission was completed successfully. Ukrainians destroyed the Russian army not only with drones, but also with artillery. It all begins with tracking the enemy. This time, the Ukrainians discovered a control point with a Zala reconnaissance drone. The Ukrainians followed the Russians. When a vehicle with equipment arrives at the command post, the Ukrainians prepare HIMARS for a strike. One missile destroys the command post, the control point, and the equipment of the Russian army. And this is an operation to destroy a launch site for Russian kamikaze drones, Lancet. The video captures the moment one of the drones was launched. Now, the task for the Ukrainians is to track where the launch site will move, find the drone warehouse, and strike all of it using HIMARS. The Russians drove the launch site into the forest. In this video, they pick up a reconnaissance drone. The launch site is used not only for launching kamikaze drones, but also for launching any drones from a guide. A HIMARS missile perfectly hits the target. A powerful explosion occurs. Not typical for a missile. The kamikaze drones loaded into a truck detonated. During reconnaissance, SOF discovers an enemy drone. The Russians arrive for it on a mobile launch site. They dismantle the drone and load it onto a vehicle. The drone continued observation and transmitted coordinates to the HIMARS until when the Russians stopped. The target is destroyed. Ukrainians discovered the combat vehicle 9A35 and the Strela 10 SAM system. Coordinates were transmitted to HIMARS, and a precise strike was delivered on the enemy's SAM system. The Russians on the combat vehicle immediately leave their positions, abandoning the damaged SAM system. The Ukrainians launch a second missile and destroy the target. Now it's the combat vehicle's turn. Excellent work! Every fragment of this video represents the valor of the Ukrainian people. Support them with your likes, comments, reposts, subscriptions, and donations. And that's all I have for now. Until next time.